What might have been missed, how this could have been prevented. Let's bring in Steve Pomerantz, former FBI Assistant Director, for a little more insight into the investigation. Steve, always good to see you. It's always sad when we see you as well.
Yeah, thank you, Leland. It is sad. Your heart goes out to all the people who've been hurt by this.
What seems so much more tragic about this event is it seems entirely preventable. This guy walked into an FBI office and said, gee, the government is controlling my mind and telling me to watch ISIS videos. Yet somehow he is allowed to board a plane with a gun. How is there not a big breakdown here?
Leland, I'm going to take this and look at it from the other direction. You know, anybody who's been in law enforcement, certainly myself included, for many years will tell you that the number of people who show up daily at FBI field offices or police stations and claim and exhibit signs of mental disturbance, most often exactly like this guy. They walk in and they tell you about people following them, people electronically monitoring them. There are literally, this happens every day, hundreds of times across the country. You have to separate that out from people who appear to be dangerous, who then make threats, or because if we were to deny people access to either guns or airplanes, particularly airplanes, because they have some sort of a mental delusion or have visited a mental health practitioner, Leland, you're talking about Steve, millions of people.
This is way different than visiting a mental health practitioner. This guy who had what we appear to think is like a psychiatric hold almost. He spent 2 weeks in a hospital for mental health issues, and as we heard from Doug McKelway as well, if you're in Alaska and you have a domestic abuse conviction, you're not supposed to be able to own a gun, yet it appears as though he had a concealed carry permit.
Yeah, and there may be a breakdown in that. Again, depending on whether that was reported or not reported by the mental health facility, what they concluded. Again, you can spend a long time in a mental health facility being treated and still not be deemed as dangerous. So again, you have all these issues in this case. You know, Leland, at the end of the day, this is a very complex society with many, many vulnerabilities. And sometimes these things just culminate in an event like this. And at the end of the day, you may find out that this is one of those risks that we just have to live with.
Well, at some level, sort of the risk we have to live with versus living in a police state where you can't go anywhere without going through a metal detector. Quickly before we end, the FBI, I guess special agent in charge of this investigation, gave a press conference. He said, we can't rule out terrorism, yet we know this guy watched ISIS videos. And there's, of course, this debate. What's terror, what's not? How is the FBI making this decision, or are they being influenced by politics? We're only 2 weeks away from the inauguration.
No, I don't think they're being influenced by politics. What they're doing here is exactly what they need to do. You rule nothing out and you rule nothing in. You allow the investigation to proceed. I'm sure there are agents across the country scouring this guy's history, talking to everybody they possibly can who's associated with him, and then only after you've done a very thorough, very complete investigation can you make these kinds of decisions. It's wrong to make that kind of a call 24 hours after the event. Let it play out. Let them do their job. This is what they're very good at, and at the end of the process, we will probably know.
Well, we do know he's in custody. We know he's been interviewed by the FBI, and we also know that the U.S. Attorney is planning on filing charges a little later this afternoon, so perhaps that'll provide some insight.
It will.
Steve, always good to see you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, Leland.
Next time under better circumstances.
I hope so.